Just waiting for 1 second, folks, before we get going.
Alright, we're live.
We're live! Big Penny.
Welcome to the Hawk Podcast. Please, let's stand for our Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, we got Jack, we got James. He didn't leave to go back to New York yet, so he's with us. We got Junior, and of course Dennis. We are on your favorite podcast channel, and also on our Facebook group, the Hawk Podcast. We always say, be a hawk in a country full of political asses and elephants. Keep a sharp eye on these tyrants in office, local, state, and federal morons that are ruining America. Or you can call in 843-315-5273. Join us in the conversation. All right, let's get into our discussion. Jack, start us off, buddy.
Well, been watching a lot of the news, and there's just so many different things to cover, you know. The Democratic Party, I feel, is a disaster and in a lot of trouble. And I think their biggest reason is the corruption is now catching up to them to the point where it's not staying undercover, and I don't think they care if it's undercover because they're getting away with a lot of stuff, and where the Republican Party's going. Me and Dennis feel that the Republican Party covers a lot for the Democrats. They've helped pass a couple of these big bills, and it affects our daily life. But what's really bothering me, and we've spoken about it a couple of times, is this Department of Justice. This Department of Justice is just really going on the other side of the coin. To the point I feel like it's almost anti-American, the way that this Department of Justice is being operated. I mean, this guy Weiss that was doing the Biden case didn't want to charge him, then gives him a sweetheart deal, lied to Congress twice. The Attorney General lied to Congress, and then they make this guy Weiss the special prosecutor in the Biden case. You know, and there's more and more things coming up. They had an interview with Brian Kilmeade with the Attorney General from Ukraine that got fired, and he flat out said, listen, Joe Biden, as vice president, got bribed from Burisma to get him fired and continue on with this. That's why his son was, and now they're coming out with that he used Air Force 2 a couple times in the wrong way. A lot of things are adding up on that side. And then you have the other side where, these other politicians, I feel, are just folding into the mix of the Democrat and cowing down and falling to their corruption. Perfect example is one running for president. There's no way you could tell me Mike Pence is not running for president because he got let loose from his paperwork that was at his house. Classified. Why can I never remember that word? Classified. That's like a $10.50 word for me.
Alzheimer's is good.
Yeah, I guess so. This guy has classified information in his house. Goodbye, you're good. Don't pat on the back. You're right, mate. No problem. Why is that? He has been in politics. He was in Congress. And they threatened him. There's no way you could tell me any other way different. And now you just look at the time frames. Now they're saying that there's emails that the Department of Justice and people from Weiss's office met with Joe Biden in his office before the indictments of Trump. And this is bad. The one in New York we spoke about. Every single one of those charges are past the statute of limitations. They were all misdemeanors, and they put them together to make a felony. Here's a little note, folks. You could put 1,000 misdemeanors together. That does not equal up to a felony. 1,000 misdemeanors is, guess what? 1,000 misdemeanors. You can't turn it into a felony no matter how much you try. It's like changing a dog into a cat. Well, I guess because this guy's such a liberal in Manhattan, this DA, maybe he just feels that these crimes identify as a felony. So he's going to charge him with it. Meanwhile, there's all these other crimes that are going on in Manhattan. I mean, Manhattan is turning into a shooting gallery. Then you got this DA from New York campaign to get Trump indicted. You got the DA from Georgia campaign to get Trump indicted. And now they're doing some shenanigans down there. You know, this special prosecutor in charge of the January 6th, you know, this guy, he has been outruled by the Supreme Court 9 times. You know, he's Fugazi. The federal charges for January 6th, the judge in that, worked for Hunter Biden's company as an attorney. How can that be possible? How are these things possible? You know, this should just be such a ground ball of not. I mean, every attorney now is indicted in Georgia for counseling their client. So now you can get indicted.
Right.
You can get indicted. So I just wanted to see what you felt on that. You know, because again, to go down a rabbit hole, there are no Democrats that I feel would make a good president, that are any well known, that might. Even the guy from West Virginia, Joe Manchin, he's a clown. The Republicans, I feel, have a very good deep bench, but none of them are ready for president. You know, I just don't, and I feel the next one to get out of the race may be Ron DeSantis. And I think he should get out as fast as he can while he still has his reputation and can run for president another day. This is the perfect time. Listen, my state just got blasted with a Category 3 hurricane. I don't have time for this. I gotta stay here and do this. He can walk out with his head held high. Mother Nature took me out of this race, but my day will come. And I just, you know, Nikki Haley, again, I wouldn't give her 2 cents to be president. And the only guy that I really do believe is enamored with indictments. And they're setting these cases up right before each time. It is election interference, what they're doing. How do you make it from March 4th, when Super Tuesday's the 5th? And he has to go through 20 million different documents. And that means he would have to do 75,000 documents a day to make it to March 4th, to get 20 million done. You know, so, and her answer to that is, well, the attorneys should be prepared. Well, the attorneys shouldn't be prepared until they get all the information. Mm-hmm. So what are they getting prepared for? Again, it's give me a man, I'll find you a crime. And like I said, I do honestly feel, on both parties, that Trump would be the better candidate for everybody. That being said, the only way he will be a really good president is to have the most strongest, super strong vice president. I mean, it would have to be like really some kind of person. And but I just wanted to see what you guys felt, because I watch it every day, and you're watching the slant of the news all the time. You know, and even like you say, we go to a lot of different multitudes of different things, and you know, it is really clear cut down the middle. You know, the left-leaning news agencies are saying this. I mean, they're even bringing, you know, the 14th Amendment, which is ridiculous, to take them off the ballot. And then you got the right side saying, you know, all of these things are wrong. And again, we've printed out these things and read them. And it is what they're saying it is. It's garbage. So I just wanted to see what your feelings were on that, yours and James. I'm glad James is here for the week.
James, go ahead.
I agree with you, Jack. Having Jack Weiss, is that his name, Jack Weiss?
No, Jack something is doing the January 6th.
That's Jack Smith.
He's this, the other guy, Jack Smith. The other guy, his last name is Weiss. I don't know his first name.
Anyway, but I agree. I mean, geez, he's back on it again after he gave Hunter Biden, you know, a pot of gold of a deal on the other thing. Now he's back on it again.
Back on it. He's running the whole thing.
Yeah,
it's his baby.
So, which was appointed by Biden, right? It had to be.
Yeah.
Or the DOJ. He is in the DOJ. But,
yeah.
Anyway, but yeah. So what they're trying to do, and they have an agenda from way back, is to build a monster case against Trump. And They're going to fill him up. They're going to indict him a million times if they can.
Yeah, but this is my question. We, as amateurs, know this is not the Constitution. And Democrats aren't afraid of putting it out there for everybody to see. And the news is not afraid of reporting it because they're making a ton of money now. But what is the Republican Party doing to stop this?
Nothing.
I mean, they could defund all of it. Even the states. I mean, I know Georgia has a few Republicans in the state legislature that's trying to do a few things. They want to impeach her and they want to defund it.
Yeah.
But even if you defund it and impeach her, it seems like the Democrats would just be like, well, take it over here, put it in federal. And we're going to put it under this judge right here. And as far as taking him off the ballot, you had certain states, like, for a perfect example, Wisconsin. Wisconsin just voted. They have a super, super liberal Supreme Court. So now if they try and take him off and he goes to court all the way up to the Supreme Court of Wisconsin, no, you're not coming on our ballot. Now that's not legal either.
Yeah.
So how is all of this, what are the Republicans doing for this? They're not representing their constituents.
Well, I think you get the committees like Jim Jordan's running. He's running the investigations that's tying Biden into with the Hunter Biden deals and everything. But I think that whole committee there, who else is on that? Marjorie Taylor Greene and Lauren Boebert. She's on it. Matt Gaetz from Florida. They're all on it. And I think, who's that Marjorie Taylor Greene wanted to start the impeachment inquiry now. But McCarthy's saying that we don't have enough. And I agree with that they should just get everything they can and then slam them.
See, what I'm afraid of, though, is exactly what we talked about. Might have been when you were down here the last time.
Mm-hmm.
Comer and Jordan are on TV every day saying the same thing, just like Adam Schiff did.
Yeah.
And there's nothing coming
They're not
to
showing
fruition.
anything.
There's nothing coming to fruition. And you want to know something, as far as that impeachment inquiry, does the Republicans not want to vote for that because theirs is corrupt? Yeah. They have the same thing. They have the same offshore accounts that, okay, I'm about to open up a Pandora box that can get my name in there? Is it going that deep?
What I believe is the media is part of the problem too, especially mainstream media. They don't cover the corruptness, any corruption that these guys do. You ever see CNN covering Biden and the scandals? No. Hunter? No. But if the Republicans up there, they're going to tear apart the Republican. Because they want to make sure Republicans don't get any airtime. But these politicians are a joke today.
Yeah. They're criminal, actually.
And politics in America is ridiculous. Who believes these people? You always say it's a uniparty. We know it.
They're starting to say it now because they listen to our show.
But damn right they do, and they should. They always say it's a uniparty. Democrats and Republicans are working together. Biden said today, Mitch McConnell is my friend, and these episodes he has of blanking out, not knowing where he is from a concussion, previous concussion, and he'll be okay. Bullshit. Just like Biden isn't good, Mitch McConnell isn't good.
Yeah, he blanks out all the time, that guy.
Yeah. They gotta go. They're useless today. But I think both parties are in trouble though. I think we the people are really catching on. The only thing, I said this before, we can't all unite under one banner. That's the problem. Everybody got their own little thing. But I think if this no labels party gets on the ballot, and I think they're gonna.
I think they're just as bad though.
Oh, they are. But then you got the sleeper Cornel West. He's gonna take a lot of the black vote away from Biden.
He's losing. He lost 20%.
Biden?
Yeah. He lost 20%, and I've been watching a lot of different things in the black community. They're like, no, we need Trump back. You know what saved Trump with that community was when he gave that money to those colleges. Because he had given it to them. And then a year later, they're in his office, he goes, what are you doing here? I just gave you this money last year. Why are you back? And they said, well, because we have to campaign for it every year. And he said, what? You got a campaign? So I think he's something to the stipulation of like, well, how long can we sign this up for? And he did. I think it was like 10 years. And he goes, here, now when you come and see me, come see me. You don't have to come hat in hand. And I think that's starting to, that guy, he used to be a civil libertarian, he worked for the...
He's a civil rights activist. Cornel West, right?
No, I'm talking about the other guy. He's on Fox News a lot. He's another black guy, and he is 100% for Trump. When Trump did that, he's like, listen, I see the light. I see that the Democratic Party has been leading us the wrong way. I can't remember, but he was a civil rights
I've been saying that for like 20
attorney.
years.
Is that Harold Ford? Harold,
No. He used to be a congressman. He's still very Democrat. No, this guy's a strict attorney, and he just goes on Fox every now and then as a commentator.
Oh,
Yeah.
Leo
Terrell.
Leo Terrell. And he wears a hat. Leo Terrell 2.0.
Yeah.
Because he's like, my eyes are now, he goes, I'm still a civil rights attorney. He goes, but I just don't get invited to any of the parties anymore.
Right.
And the same thing with Horowitz. He was a professor for Harvard, and he's been a civil rights attorney since the 60s. And he's like, what they're doing is wrong, and they don't talk to him anymore. And he still votes Democrat. Laurel, what's his name? Terrell, he doesn't vote Democrat anymore. But
I think people are really starting to wake up.
But I just don't think that the Republican Party is taking hold of that and saying, right, you guys are right for backing us, and here's what we're going to do. And Vivek Ramaswamy's proved it. He went to Chicago into the neighborhoods and walked with these people and looked at where the shootings were and said, I'm the only one running that will walk into these neighborhoods. And the other ones, the other candidates won't.
Yeah.
You know why? Because they're not big money donors. So they got nothing to offer them.
All right. If anyone out there has something to talk about, again, the number is 843-315-5273. Our goal and only goal of this podcast is get people thinking about what is happening in our country. And what solutions do people have to keep us free from this government control, from all the regulations and ridiculous laws that they hold us down. It's ridiculous, folks. We want people to get involved, not only with us, but in the community you live. That's 843-315-5273. James, you're up. What are we going to talk about?
So let's talk about the what happened on the Indian reservation where the protesters blocked the road for miles for some show called The Burning Man. I'm not really familiar with it. If you guys are,
I saw a little bit about it.
I know about the event. I don't know who this Burning Man is.
yeah. So the Navajo police, I guess they have different regulations or policies.
Different policies and guidelines.
How they work the policing. So traffic was backed up for miles and miles.
And all those cars are running.
All those cars are running.
Not doing good for the atmosphere.
Now they blocked the road with
Climate change.
Yeah.
They blocked the road with a trailer. How did the trailer get there?
Yeah. Well, I blame this last hurricane in South Carolina we got on those people letting those cars just sit there idling.
So it's what was their reason for being there? I think it was climate change, right? Protests against climate change or something. But so the police, I saw in the news, he ran the trailer with his pickup truck
Twice,
and then got out with his weapon, his duty weapon, and told the protesters to get on the ground. And now every left-wing nut is up in arms about it.
Did you see the one lady sitting on the side of the road? We were just protesting.
Yeah.
Well, don't protest here.
No, well, you did.
You have a right to protest. You don't have a right to block traffic.
Yeah.
You endangered lives because that's, from what I understand from the news, is that there's only one way to get into that town, and there's people that get to doctor's appointments and other places, and another person was late for work or whatever, and so I mean that's, I don't know, what are you guys' thoughts on this? So,
I think it was great.
yeah, I thought it was great too, the way that officer.
I thought it was great the first time he hit it. When he hit it the second time, the guy was my hero. Maybe he didn't have to take his service weapon out, but you know what? If he gets the point across.
Yeah.
I was hoping it was the taser,
Yeah.
That's what I thought it was, a taser at first.
but it wasn't. But you know what? This guy patrols the Navajo Nation. You know, you don't like it,
These
don't come in.
liberal politicians, they give too much to the, the BLM, Antifa, the haters of America, the ones that hate police.
Mm.
And the police are bad, the police are bad. But if you do, there's been surveys out there that say the black community want more police in their neighborhood.
Of course they do.
They don't like the bullshit. They don't like the guns. They don't like the violence. But these politicians keep taking away the police. You can't put socialists in there. You can't put psychologists in there.
Did you see Washington State sent an unarmed social worker to a crime? You know, there was a great thing on Bill O'Reilly one time. He was talking about Al Sharpton. And
Al Sharpton's an idiot.
so he went into Harlem and they asked this one guy, all of them think he's an idiot because then he said, listen, what do you think Al Sharpton brings to your neighborhood here? And the guy goes, listen, I'm poor and I work. He goes, and I'm too poor to be racist.
But, I mean, we dealt with Al Sharpton in jail.
Oh,
Yeah.
we used to call Al Uncle Al.
Yeah.
And when he got stabbed that one time, the whole police department was worried because we used to make a ton of money on him. He was in town, I was getting overtime.
But he's nothing but trouble.
Yeah.
That's all he is, a troublemaker.
Unfortunately, there is no more Martin Luther King Jr.'s out there
Yeah.
that are out there to make a difference. They're out there to make a buck.
That BS story that Al Sharpton made up with Tawana Brawley after
He used to go up to you guys' prison?
He had to go to our prison for like 7 days.
1989. He was out there, and there was about, remember that, Dennis? There was about 40 protesters outside the jail, Albany County.
Yeah, him, Pete Seeger, they all got thrown in jail for like 7 days. You know what? He never came out of his cell except to go to a shower. He was in protective custody.
That's when he was the big Al Sharpton.
He was bigger. But he was scared to come out of his cell.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
Big tough guy.
yeah. The
big
people you're
mouthy.
supposed to be representing,
Yeah,
you can't go have lunch with.
nothing but a failure.
He is a failure.
But I think the black communities, they're tired of Democrats. They're tired of all this shit. They don't want to see violence in their city.
Of course they are. They're Americans, and that's what it is. They don't want to see this shit going on in their neighborhood. They want the best they can have for their kids.
I mean, look at all the stuff going on just in Myrtle Beach. All the gunshots every day, people getting shot. The homelessness there. The drugs
I
there.
blame that right on Brenda Bethune. She's the worst mayor ever. She could solve that problem in 10 seconds.
I don't know where it goes from here. I don't know how. We have to make it better. Somebody has to start to say, hey, we need to do this. We need to come together and say, I'm done with Republicans, I'm done with Democrats. All black, white, male, female, Hispanic, Mexican, however, we all need to unite together. We need to close our borders.
The border's a mess.
Homelessness is a mess.
And I tell you, you know how you stop it? I bet you every person on that line, waiting to get down that road, wanted to pin a medal on that guy's chest after he pushed that
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
trailer out of the way.
I thought it was great.
There was probably people cheering in their living rooms
Yeah,
after that officer did that, saying, it's about time.
yeah.
Too bad. As long as he didn't hurt anybody, got his point across.
Yeah.
And there's not gonna be people out there protesting after they see that.
Yeah.
I can almost guarantee you that will not happen next year at the Man on Fire, whatever it is. Was it
Burning Man.
Burning Man?
Burning Man or whatever.
Yeah.
Never
Nobody's gonna bring a trailer and block that road. That road is gonna be open.
Right.
Yeah.
No, I think you made the right decision.
Absolutely. I 100%.
Yeah, I mean, how long are you supposed to play patty cakes with these guys?
Yeah.
Forever. That's it.
Yeah.
Even these idiots ruining all the art over in Europe, gluing their hand to the pictures. That the fountain, they put all ink in there.
Yeah.
We have to stop worrying about this woke community.
Yeah.
You know, the military's woke.
Oh man.
They're useless, pretty much. You know,
Not the
these
troops.
police departments,
The leaders.
right? The leaders.
The leaders.
The police department, their leaders, they're terrorists themselves.
Yeah.
They don't give a damn about their employees. They don't even care about their own numbers. I did this, and I did that. No, your guys did that, and you're just reaping the benefits. You know.
It's just
But I'll give Sheriff Weaver down here. He had one deputy get arrested, DUI last week. It was like 1:30 in the morning. 5 minutes later, the guy was fired for driving drunk in a police cruiser.
Yeah, it's not smart.
Yeah, almost hitting another police car. Stopped by his own guys. I commend those guys for stopping him and doing the right thing.
Yeah.
You know. But most of the time, I mean, blue on blue. And I don't know. I don't know where we go from here, James.
I don't know either. And it's like you said, there's probably a lot of good officers out there, and they want to do the right thing, and
But can't.
but they can't.
Well, there, you know, we lived through that too in the city. We had David Dinkins as the mayor, and you weren't allowed, you know. And we had that one shooting up in Spanish Harlem, and that guy went through a 2-year investigation, and it was unfortunate. But he was a great cop. Crossed all his T's and dotted all his I's, and after 2 years, Farragut's like, everything this guy did, he did. And you know, but that's what happens. That's what's happening with the police departments across the country, and right here in Myrtle Beach. The problem with Myrtle Beach Police Department is the mayor will not allow. They have rules. You know, you have a guide, and the guide is guided by city, state, and federal law. So here it is. But when the leader of that, like this here Mayor Bethune, when she says, well, you're not allowed to do that, now you have good troops that want to do their job. Here, it's right here in black and white. This is what I'm supposed to do. But you're telling me I can't do it? But then tomorrow you're going to tell me I can do it? And then the day after I can't do it? You know, you can't send mixed signals on to these guys out in the street. First off, it's dangerous. It's deadly. And second off, what am I doing here? I mean, you're putting everybody at risk because you want to be politically correct. It's here. It's been to court. This is good enough all the way most times to the Supreme Court. And now you're telling us not to? So what do you do as an officer? You tuck your head in, roll your window up. You don't talk to the community. You become the bad guy. The bad guys become the heroes. You get vigilantes, and it turns into a mess.
It's got to stop somewhere.
It's got to stop with the leaders.
You know, but they're not going to do it. So average citizens have to do it.
You tie a police department or the service. I don't know the service. I know the police. You tie the police department's hands. They can't get out.
Yeah.
So now the work doesn't get done.
And I'm sure it's the same in the FBI department, and those guys, I'm sure they do a fantastic job, and their hands are tied, a lot of them, from their higher up administrators.
Yeah.
You know, so be part of the show. Send us a message on our Facebook page, The Hawk. Call us 843-315-5273. You know, I mentioned earlier that our tyrants in office are ruling this country. Hold on a second. When I say that, I always like to show everyone on what they're actually doing to destroy America. And how politicians never accept responsibility for their actions, for what's happening in their city and state. We all know we have a homeless pandemic going on throughout the United States. Happens in every state, every part. No city's immune to the homeless. They build tents nowadays. They create tents on the side of the road.
But the city builds tents too.
Yeah.
And when nobody shows up, they knock it down and build it someplace else.
You know, the homeless seem to have more rights than homeowners, and it's a shame. Not only do we have spineless politicians, but we also have judges that agree with the homeless. They stop injunctions. They stop tent cities from being torn down. You know, yeah, it's getting that crazy. Because these politicians do nothing, business have closed their doors. So, and that's what I want to talk about right now, San Francisco. I hear it used to be a nice place.
I've never been there.
Neither have I.
Not Mark Twain. Charles Dickens said it was the coldest summer he ever spent. Was when he went to San Francisco.
So I looked up an article. And it's named San Francisco Mayor, London Breed Blast Homeless Coalition. Hell City, quote, hostage for decades. It's written by Bradford Pitt. It's not a very long story. You should look it up. Their mayor, I won't mention the party she's affiliated with because it really doesn't matter. Like I said, they say San Francisco used to be a great place for tourism. Not anymore. Who wants to see or visit a place where there are homeless encampments, syringes on the streets, urine, crap on the streets, and not have any stores to shop at? 10 cities, people. This Mayor Breed, instead of taking responsibility for this crisis, has blamed the homeless coalition of holding the city hostage, homeless for decades. What you don't know, she has been mayor for 5 years. 2018.
Nobody reminded her of that.
She's not done a thing to clean up her city. And now she's blaming others for her failure to make that city great again. She did say the city has spent billions of dollars to help the homeless. Did you spend it on any veterans? Did you spend it on any kids? You know? Not only has she failed, the city administration has failed. These politicians need to go. She's useless, just as these elected people who do a bad job in office. And we know they all do. You know, she isn't the only politician that is doing this. I mean, right here we have, in South Carolina, we have homeless sleeping on the side of Route 17, which is our local thoroughfare to get down there besides 95. And our politicians down here do nothing.
Chapin Park.
Yep, Chapin Park in Myrtle Beach.
Beautiful park that not one family goes to.
Because it's filled with homeless people, drugs, syringes.
There was one weekend it was cleared out, and that's when they had the country music festival.
And I say this, a failure of our politicians is ruining our country. And people sit idly by and let it happen in their communities. See, that's another reason why we need to vote these clowns out of office. Because of this homeless, ridiculous stuff that doesn't need to be. Not taking care of the drug epidemic, not securing our borders. And we mentioned about that book I read, Open Borders creates drug use in the United States, and it does. But we have to do better. With these current politicians in office, we can't. Because they don't care. They just want your money. So that's what I have to say on that. Jack, any point of reply?
Yeah, they have, these politicians, like Maxine Waters, for instance. She's been in Congress for decades and decades, like everybody else. And there was a guy that was running against her in California. And now the neighborhood she represents is a total disaster. But she don't live there. She lives outside of her district in a $5 million mansion. And the guy did a campaign ad, in front of her house, away from that neighborhood, and he still lost. Deering Green, about a year or two Dennis had done, we did this whole, how these politicians stay in office. And 70% of the donations go to the incumbent. And they spend 70% of their time and up campaigning on the phone for the next election to get elected. So they're not spending a lot of time on us. We have to start voting people in that aren't affiliated to party, and we have to start making these changes. But here is the problem. The people of America
Are brainwashed.
don't know what the Constitution says. They don't know their rights. I mean,
We've got it on our website,
yeah.
fedupwithpolitics.com.
We have it in the back of our book, and I hope it's there. It's quoted a few times in a few of the chapters, and I hope that it gets that itch where you want to scratch it and go back to the end of the book and read the Declaration. The Declaration of Independence is a piece of art, the way they wrote it. And the Declaration of Independence, the Constitution of the United States and the amendments, man, I tell you what, you read that and start getting yourself familiar with it. And then you read that book that I read, what's the name of it? Miracle in Philadelphia, where it spanned the whole time that they were arguing over this. What these guys didn't do. They were brilliant. And it's a timeless document that will take care of every generation of this country if you just apply.
Yep. But
they don't know it. They don't know what the Constitution... And it started a long time ago. I mean, Woodrow Wilson literally said, you can believe the Declaration of Independence if you don't read the preamble. If you don't read the preamble, the only thing left was the complaints that they had. The preamble is everything. The complaints you can plug in and out all day long. There's always complaints about politicians.
Yep.
So it's up to us, folks, to educate yourself. And we can't say it enough. Don't do it for yourself.
Do it for your kids.
Do it for your next generations. This entire country was founded. The laws made of it, for it, were for their posterity, which is their future. Their future generations is all they thought about the whole time they were writing this, debating it, arguing. They stayed in Philadelphia in the summer with closed windows, bed bugs, where they couldn't sleep at night because there was no exterminators. Yeah, I mean, what these guys did to try and get this done, away from their families, no family there. I mean, come on, spend a little time. Turn off
the idiot box.
Turn off the idiot box. Turn off your cell phone for a minute. Spend 15 minutes. I can't tell you how many times me and Des told you. 36 pages of a book this big. So if you got it in regular form, it might be 19 pages of the Declaration and its amendments. Read it.
Right.
That's what they taught in school. They taught in school when this country was founded to learn the Declaration, the Constitution, understand the Constitution, and then teach the Constitution. This is what they were taught from kindergarten straight through. We got to get back to that.
Don't teach our kids because of the color of your skin you're not good enough. Because everyone's equal under the Declaration.
You know, people say all day long, why is there so many shootings in school? They didn't have that when I was a kid. Well, you know what? They didn't teach hate when you were in school. These kids are taught to hate themselves, hate their fellow students,
hate their parents,
hate their society. Everything is hate. So, in their mind, what are they doing?
Right.
They're taking care of the problem.
James, any thoughts on that?
Yeah, I agree. San Francisco is getting back to your point, Dennis.
Yeah, sorry, I went down a rabbit hole.
It's good. It's all good.
No, actually, you were making some good points, and it's a disaster, just like these other cities that are full of homeless and drug addicts, and they're all ran by Democratic.
Right, it proves a point. It doesn't work. That socialist, that social justice doesn't work. Look at San Francisco, thriving.
Yeah.
Thriving. One of the highest real estate places in the world is now filled with homeless because of social justice.
The Republicans just don't broadcast it. It's happening in their states too.
Oh yeah,
you know.
Yeah.
But I agree with the Democrats ruling there with the riots and everything.
Yeah. And if I'm correct, isn't that Nancy Pelosi's district?
San Francisco, yeah.
Yeah. And she's, been in office 80 years, maybe? I don't know.
I think she's like 600.
Yeah.
At least.
She looks, I don't know, 107 years old.
I mean, she's old enough to look like she's been chiseled out of stone.
Yeah. So, and what? Just the other day, Gavin Newsom blames the judges now on the homelessness, the tents and everything.
Oh, the judges he appointed?
Yeah. Yeah, he's blaming them now. I'm sorry, but You're the governor of that huge state of California. You're top dog. You can do whatever you want. If you want to clean up your state, clean it up.
I tell you what, we work with a guy that grew up in California, and he said it was the best place in the world to grow up. And he had to move out. My family comes from Brooklyn, and it was the greatest place. And you talk to my mother and father, there was no better place than hitting Coney Island on the way home from school and walking home, because you spent the money on a hot dog and hanging out in Coney Island. That was your train fare, you know. And now I wouldn't walk my dog in the neighborhood.
No,
You can't.
No, I don't.
Can't even ride the subway anymore.
Which is funny, because they'll give you a summons for your dog going to the bathroom and not cleaning up. But the bum next to him,
Yeah, they let him go.
he's allowed.
He's got more rights.
Yeah, he's allowed. Don't let your dog do any feces on the curb. But this guy here, he's got, that's his bathroom. Again, social justice does not work.
Yeah.
Maybe we should do a thing on that. What exactly does social justice mean?
All right.
And I agree with you, Jack. To your point that these kids today, they're being taught nothing but hate, and with all the, the critical race theory, and that's being taught to them, and these kids are so confused.
Yeah.
And I work in a high school now, and so I see them every day, and a lot of them are pretty good kids, but a lot of them take the wrong direction.
Kids are good,
Yeah.
and kids are taught wrong.
That's right.
Yeah.
You know what? God made us in His image, which is a pretty good image. And when you get opinionated at a young age,
That's right. He created this masterpiece right here.
That's the scary
boy,
part.
that was an off day.
That's the scary part.
All right, so we're just about out of time. Any last thoughts from you guys? Who wants to go first? Go ahead, Jim. Go ahead, Jim.
I don't know. I'm going to refer to my shirt. It's an old saying that I think started from coastal Carolina, I believe. Let's go, Brandon. And I'm going to keep, until this thing has holes in it, I'm going to keep wearing this shirt. Until the old, decrepit, no-minded idiot gets out of office.
Just talking about President Forget-A-Lot.
Oh,
Yeah, talking about a guy that freezes up.
Yeah.
Oh
Yeah.
my goodness.
you can call him President Sniff a lot, too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's true.
Yeah,
Definitely true.
President creep out a lot. Holy
Yeah.
mackerel. I tell you what.
Any thoughts, Jack?
Yeah. Just look at a guy, the minority leader in the Senate can't get through a press conference. President of the United States can't get off a stage. The Senate and the representatives are all wearing $3,000 and $5,000 suits and dresses. The State of the Union has turned into a gala instead of an issue, and it was all placed there and kept there by us. So let's start doing our work.
Right. So every year here in America, we have a chance to vote. Local elections, school board elections, special elections.
So far.
Yeah. Yep. Do us all a favor and stop voting for these unpatriotic politicians looking to destroy our way of life. Vote different. And let's start the process of giving us all a different outlook than we have now. Get some constitutionalists in there. So thanks for joining. Share this with everyone you know. I know we're all tired of politics. We can and will do better when we vote for the people who love this country. And believe it, they can't do any worse than what we have now. Thanks for watching. We'll have a great weekend. We'll talk to you next week.
Bye.